everyone. We are approaching the holidays, and I have a very special holiday fit gluten-free almond cake that I would like to share with you today. First of all, let me show you which brand of almond flour or meal I use, and what we need to do before we start making this cake. It is delicious, and I promise you're gonna love it. I use this almond brand super fine almond ground, and I'll show you over here what it is. I have on this side here the almonds after I roasted them a little bit in a frying pan, and on this side here they are the way they come both raw. So you see obvious change in the color, and when you roast them a little bit, like on this side, it becomes much nuttier and more flavorful at the end result. So just for you to know, you can still do it with a raw almond, but I prefer it to be nuttier and more flavorful. This is tip number one. Now for the cake, it's very, very simple, very easy, and very few ingredients. I will need 6 egg whites, only the whites, and I need 3 cups of confectioner sugar, powdered sugar, which weighs a little bit over 300, it's about 370 grams. And then I need 300 grams of almond flour or meal, almond meal, toasted, which I have already done over here. Is into this almond, roasted almond, I'm gonna add the powdered sugar. I will just mix a little bit, and until they are all kind of blended together and even. Just like this. Step 1 is finished. Here I have the egg whites, 6 of them. I will add a touch of salt, just a tiny bit of salt, and mix until it's soft peak. Now that we achieved soft peak, and meaning by soft peak, if you take the egg whites and you do this, it's very rumbly. Into this, I will add a tiny bit of vanilla. You can also add almond extract if you like, but I'd rather vanilla. I'll fold it in. And I will add also the almond meal with the powdered sugar, and I'll just lightly fold. I go around the pan just like this until they are incorporated, and then I add the rest. If you find some sugar that hasn't dissolved, you can push it at the wall of your mixer or bowl, and that will take care of that. Okay, now we have incorporated the egg whites with the almonds and the sugar. This we will separate into 3 portions. You can eyeball like a big cookies, 3 big cookies on a pan, on a baking sheet. So I prepared here a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. You can also use silpat. Here I have 3 baking sheets. 2 of them are lined with silpat, 1 with parchment paper. I will be dividing the almond mixture into 3 equal portions, and I'm gonna make them like a big cookie. So 1, 2, 'So here I have 3 even portions. I just spread a little bit, not much, just tiny bit, and make sure that they are round. Now, as soon as the oven is at temperature, I'm gonna put them in the oven, bake them until they are golden, lightly golden, and then we will let them cool completely before we peel them off the silpat or parchment paper. See you then. So here we are. Those I have baked for about 11 to 12 minutes in my oven, and they cooled. And I just want to show you how we can peel them. Just lift the silpat or the parchment and peel it off, just like this. Now at this point, these when they are cooled completely, you can put them in parchment paper and saran wrap and make sure that they don't break, they are fragile. And you can freeze them up to 3 months if that's what you wish. We will be whipping the heavy cream so we can fill the cake. I have here 2 cups of whipping cream. I have 2 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons of powdered sugar. I will put that into the heavy cream as a little bit of a sweetener. And I also have half a teaspoon of instant coffee, which I will wet it with about a teaspoon of brandy and a tiny bit of hot water, just to make sure that it has dissolved, although it did dissolve here. So make sure to shake the whipping cream so it's, you know, the fat didn't settle at the bottom. When it sits in a box for a while, that's what happens. We'll add it into the bowl. Start whipping. When the whipped cream becomes thick, make sure not to over whip it because it can separate to become sugar, fat and milk. When it gets whipped, I will add the cognac with the coffee, and I will just fold it in. And I can do that just by hand like this. That's how it looks. Now this is what we're gonna be layering those almond cookies. Now I have 1 layer in the plate already. I take a little bit of the cream and I spread it, leaving a very thin edge without spreading it all the way to the edge so it doesn't fall on the sides. I like the sides to show that there are three layers. I think it's rustic looking and still beautiful. I also like to use offset spatula just to make sure that the cream is even thickness over that first layer and every layer. Now the second layer, I will just top the first with, and I will put more cream. And spread it. just like that. And now I will add the third layer, cover, and put the rest of the cream on it. And on this layer, I will let the cream just come all the way to the edge, and you know, if it needs to come down a little bit on the sides naturally, I will let it do that. I like it to look like a cloud. So it looks just like a cloud. I don't like to spread it too much. I don't like to make it too even. I like it to look just natural like that. And I'm gonna show you how I finish it. Now at this point the cake is done. This is the recipe. You can drizzle some chocolate ganache on top, or even you can do some apricot, brandied apricot jam preserves on top. But for me, I like to do something a little bit more special, especially for the holidays. Let me show. The topping I'm gonna be doing is caramelized almonds. I'm using the sliced almonds, just like that. And in a pan here, I will add half a cup of sugar. Half a cup of sugar. And put on the stove. And move it so it's evenly spread, just like that. I think this is a better view. And I'll let it melt until it's golden, and then I'm gonna add about 3/4 of a cup. I will see, it depends. I will add almonds enough to be coated with the sugar that have melted and caramelized, and then I'm gonna pour it onto a silpat, thinly spread, for it to cool completely. Tilt to mix. You don't put any spoon in there until it's all melted. When needed, just pick it up from the heat so it doesn't burn, to make sure that all the sugar crystals have dissolved. At this point, I add the almonds. So I have here 3/4, and I will make sure that they are all coated. And the heat of the sugar is gonna toast the almonds a little bit. And the almonds, they cool that sugar so it doesn't burn as easy. Make sure you don't touch this. It's extremely hot and dangerously hot, actually. So at this point, the almonds starting to turn color as well. It means that they are toasting, so they are even nuttier and delicious. And at this point, I'm gonna pour this onto the silpat. This is the silpat that I had the almond cookie on. So pour it and spread. You need to be quick because it's very easy to burn those almonds. Just spread it thinly, and then we will be, as soon as it cools down completely, we will break it into chunks. The almonds have cooled, and as you see here, I will lift the silpat. It can peel in big chunks like this. You can make them as big as you want or as small as you want, and I like to break them randomly and just poke them into my cake just like that. And you can't not steal a bite as you're doing that. You can even put the whole thing on, but I like it to be easy to cut afterwards, so. And then all the small pieces, I just pour them in the middle like this. I think the more almonds, the better the cake is. After all, it is almond cake and it is for the holidays. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. So the cake is finished. It's beautiful. I put it just for an hour in the fridge so it holds itself together. I rather have it overnight. Tomorrow it's gonna be much better held together and tastier because all the flavors, again, they get involved with each other. But I want to cut it so I can show you how it looks from the inside. Let's do that. I left a piece in there. The first piece, it's always the hardest to cut. But it's all delicious. Here's my cake. We cannot wait to indulge. Merry Christmas. Heavenly. Totally delicious.